All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You know the drill. We're taking a closer look at Global Pulse, today's top stories.
Yep.
But today, we're going to do things a little differently.
Okay.
It's not just about the individual headlines, right? We're going to zoom out,
Right.
connect the dots, see how everything kind of fits together.
Yeah, like a puzzle.
Exactly. Like, what are the big forces shaping our world right now? You know, we're talking international politics,
Right.
economy, the whole AI thing. And, of course, climate change kind of looms over everything.
It does. It does.
So let's jump right in, shall we? Global Pulse kicks off with this tense situation between two countries.
Always some tension somewhere, right?
Always. They kept it pretty general,
Smart move.
which I think is great because it means we could apply those lessons to a
Right.
whole bunch of different situations. But,
Yeah.
at the core of it, it's really a classic clash, right?
Totally.
Over resources, global influence, that kind of stuff.
Yep. The usual suspects.
Yeah, and when you get these kinds of standoffs, sanctions become like the
Yeah.
weapon of choice.
It's like the go-to move these days.
Right. It's like economic warfare, right?
Absolutely.
You pressure a country without, actually sending in troops. But the thing is, and this is where it gets interesting,
Okay.
there's always this ripple effect.
Always.
So, okay, think about it this way. You love avocados, right?
Who doesn't?
I mean, who doesn't?
I'd
Guacamole,
say-
everything.
Yeah.
Now imagine sanctions hit a major fertilizer exporter.
Okay. Yeah.
Suddenly, those avocados you love, way more expensive.
Oh.
Because, the fertilizer supply gets disrupted. Farmers all over the world, they have to pay more.
Right. Makes sense.
And those costs, guess what? They
Oh.
trickle down
Right to us.
to you at the grocery store.
So my guacamole habit
Yeah, exactly.
is tied to global politics.
It's all connected, right?
I never thought about it like that.
It's wild. And while we're on the topic of global impact, their Global Pulse kept mentioning military presence.
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one.
I get it. I picture, tanks rolling in, that kind of stuff.
The dramatic stuff.
But what does it actually mean in this context? When we're talking about these international situations.
Well, it's more about, strategic positioning,
Yeah.
Like, you might see increased naval deployments,
yeah.
troop movements near borders, even just ramping up military exercises.
Oh, I see.
It's all about sending a message.
The show of force.
Yeah, like, hey, we're here and we're ready.
And I bet that message comes with a pretty hefty price tag.
Oh, absolutely. Military spending is no joke.
So the big question is, in these standoffs,
Yeah.
does anyone actually win?
It's rare to have a clear winner, honestly.
Really?
Most of the time, things simmer down
Okay.
with these negotiated settlements,
Yeah.
Each side gives a little to get a little.
Right.
But the process is messy, takes forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the people caught in the middle, they often pay the biggest price.
Yeah, it's like always the innocent people who suffer the most.
It's a shame, really.
Okay, that's a lot to process.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
Let's shift gears a bit, talk about something a little closer to home.
Sure.
Our wallets.
Oh, yeah, that always gets our attention.
Global Pulse did a whole segment on inflation,
Everyone's talking about it.
which is basically like this monster lurking in all of our wallets right now.
Definitely feeling it at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah, me too. Can you break it down for us? How does this actually affect, our everyday shopping trips?
Imagine you go to the store and everything is suddenly more expensive.
Oh, I don't have to imagine.
Right. That cup of coffee
Yeah.
you grab every morning, more expensive. Filling up your gas tank
Oh, tell me about it.
costs more. Even that streaming service you love.
Oh, no.
Yep, probably more expensive too.
Inflation. That's inflation in a nutshell.
Ugh, I'm feeling it already.
We all are.
But Global Pulse kept mentioning these things.
Like central banks and interest rates.
Yeah, those are important.
They sound very, finance textbooky to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Break it down for me like I'm 5, please.
Okay. Picture the economy as a giant roller coaster.
Okay, I like roller coasters.
Right. Central banks, they're like the engineers.
Okay.
They control the speed, try to prevent any crazy crashes.
Keep us safe.
Exactly. And interest rates. That's their main lever.
The lever.
Yeah. Raise interest rates. It's like hitting the brakes on the roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
Makes it more expensive to borrow money,
Okay.
hoping to slow things down.
Slow down the spending.
Yes, and tame inflation.
Okay, so higher interest rates mean people, think twice
Exactly.
before buying that new car
Yep.
or house, which in theory cools down all that spending. Which,
Right.
eventually brings those prices down, hopefully.
That's the idea, but here's the tricky part.
Okay?
If they slam the brakes too hard,
Yeah.
the whole roller coaster could stop.
Oh, no, a recession.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act.
It's like walking a tightrope.
Absolutely.
Speaking of tricky situations,
Mm-hmm.
Global Pulse
Yeah.
also had this whole segment on AI,
AI, yeah, that's a big one.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
All these breakthroughs,
It's moving so fast.
especially in healthcare.
Incredible potential there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But they also mentioned something, a little unsettling.
Oh,
Job losses due to automation.
that's the flip side.
Is this something we should be worried about?
Especially with the economy kind of teetering as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a legitimate concern.
Okay.
Think about self-driving trucks.
Okay.
If that technology really takes off,
Yeah.
what happens to the millions of truck drivers?
Right. They're out of a job.
Certain jobs are definitely at risk.
Okay. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
But are there new jobs being created because of AI?
Oh, absolutely.
Like jobs that we haven't even thought of yet?
Exactly. Think about all the people needed to develop this technology.
Oh, right.
Manage it. Yeah. Guide it ethically. We're talking AI developers, data scientists,
Yeah.
even AI ethicists.
Whoa, AI ethicist?
It's a whole new world of work emerging.
It's mind-blowing.
And it's changing so rapidly.
It's like every day there's something new.
It feels that way.
There was this quote in Global Pulse that really stuck with me.
Mm.
It said, AI is no longer science fiction. It's here and now.
Powerful statement.
It really made me think, are we prepared
Good question.
for the ethical implications of all this?
Yeah, especially as AI gets more powerful.
What if it gets used in warfare?
Oh, that's a whole other level.
That changes everything.
Completely.
Think about it. Autonomous weapon systems making life or death decisions.
It's a scary thought.
Or AI being used for mass surveillance propaganda.
Oh, yeah. The potential for misuse is huge.
These are serious ethical dilemmas.
They are.
We need to be having these conversations now,
Before it's too late.
right before it's too late. Okay, deep breaths, everyone.
Take a breath.
Because we're diving into a topic that can feel
Know where you're going.
pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
Climate change,
The big one.
Global Pulse, was pretty blunt.
They didn't sugarcoat it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
About the increasing intensity
Yeah.
of extreme weather events
It's undeniable at this point.
and the very real human cost.
The human cost, that's what gets me.
Yeah, it's not just about numbers, it's about people.
Real people's lives.
And this is where the economic side comes back into play.
Ah, right. The connection.
Think about your own city.
Okay.
What happens if a major flood hits?
Oh, wow.
Roads get damaged, businesses shut down,
People lose their homes.
homes are destroyed. It's not just about the immediate damage.
Right.
Rebuilding costs a fortune.
It does, yeah.
And guess who ends up footing the bill?
All of us, one way or another.
Ouch, that's hitting a little too close to home.
It is, yeah.
So are we talking higher taxes, skyrocketing insurance premiums,
Most likely, yeah.
the cost of climate change?
Mm-hmm.
It's distributed across society.
Yep, from individuals to governments.
And as these events become more frequent,
More and more free.
those costs are just going to keep going up.
Oh, it's a scary trajectory.
Global Pulse mentioned an upcoming climate summit,
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
which is supposed to be like a huge deal.
A lot of hope riding on that.
But honestly, I'm skeptical.
I get it.
Will it actually lead to meaningful action?
That's the question, isn't it?
Or is it just another round of, empty promises?
We've seen that before. Too many times. It's hard to stay optimistic sometimes.
I'm trying.
Me too.
But I think it's important to acknowledge
Yeah.
the climate impacts that are already happening
Right here, right now.
right here, right now. What about you?
Mm.
Have you personally experienced
Let me think.
any effects of climate change?
Well, I live in a coastal region,
Okay.
so rising sea levels are a major concern.
Right.
We're already seeing more frequent flooding
Wow.
during high tides and storms.
That's intense.
It's a stark reminder
Yeah.
that climate change isn't some abstract concept.
Right.
It's impacting people's lives today.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's something we all need to be thinking about,
Be sure.
talking
They're
about
doing
it.
this conversation
Because the choices we make,
every single day
both individually,
and collectively,
they directly impact the future of our planet.
our one and only planet.
Okay. Let's take a moment.
Yeah, breather.
Step away from these heavy topics for a bit.
Sounds good. You know, it's funny you say that, like, step away.
Yeah.
Because Global Pulse actually
Yeah.
covered 2 stories that seem like a total departure from all this heavy stuff.
Oh, say
We're
it.
talking a medical breakthrough and a new blockbuster movie.
And at first, I was like, wait, what?
I know, right?
We're talking about
Yeah.
like potential global conflicts, economic meltdowns,
Right.
and now we're on to cures and entertainment.
It's a wild swing.
It is,
Mhm.
but maybe there's a connection we're missing.
I think there is.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
I think it speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, Even
Mhm.
when the world feels like it's falling apart,
Yeah.
we're still striving for breakthroughs,
Yeah,
creating art, searching for those moments of,
yeah.
joy and escape.
It's like no matter how bad things get, we never lose that spark.
Exactly, that
Exactly.
desire for something better.
Okay, tell me more about this medical breakthrough.
Oh.
What kind of disease are we talking about?
All right, so imagine a disease that robs you
Okay.
of your mobility.
Mm.
Slowly but surely,
Oh, wow.
this new treatment
Yeah.
has the potential to halt that progression,
Really?
maybe even reverse some of the damage.
That's incredible.
It's still early days,
Okay.
but the initial results are really promising.
Wow, that's got to be life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
For those patients and their families,
Absolutely.
talk about it, a reason for hope, right?
Good time.
And speaking of hope, let's indulge our inner movie nerds for a second. I got to admit, I'm
Yeah.
a sucker for a good blockbuster.
Who isn't?
But Global Pulse also pointed out
Yeah.
how streaming
Right.
is changing the way we experience movies.
It's a whole different landscape now.
Good thing,
Hmm.
bad thing. I'm not sure.
It's
Which
complicated.
is, yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
On one hand,
Yeah.
streaming gives you instant access to practically every movie ever made.
That's pretty amazing.
You can binge watch entire series
Yeah.
in your pajamas.
In your pajamas.
No need to even leave the house.
Okay, that's definitely a plus.
Right. So convenient.
But I also miss
Yeah.
that feeling of like
I know what you mean.
sitting in a darkened theater,
Mm-hmm.
sharing the experience
Yep.
with a bunch of strangers, you know?
That collective gasp, the laughter.
The big screen, the surround sound.
It's an event.
There's magic in that.
There really is.
So the question becomes,
Mhm.
can streaming and movie theaters coexist?
Good question.
Or will one eventually,
Take over completely.
become a relic of the past?
Maybe it's not about one replacing the other.
Okay.
Maybe both will evolve,
Right.
find ways to offer
Yeah.
unique experiences that kind of complement each other.
I like that. Yeah.
Like, you go to the theater for the spectacle,
Right.
and you stream for, like, the cozy night. And
that makes sense.
it circles back to something we've been talking about all along,
What's that?
the interconnectedness of everything, whether it's global politics, the economy,
Yeah.
technology, or even entertainment.
It's all connected.
These forces are constantly
Yeah.
shaping and reshaping each other.
Okay, let's recap for a sec.
All right.
We've gone from international showdowns to anxieties about the economy, from the awe-inspiring potential of AI
All right.
to the stark realities of climate change.
And we even managed to squeeze in a little bit of hope
We did.
with those medical breakthroughs
Yeah.
and those blockbuster escapes.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Eh?
I want to leave you with a question.
All right. Listening.
Of all the things we've discussed today,
Yeah.
what stood out to you the most?
Hmm.
What sparked your curiosity?
That's a good one.
What made you want to learn more?
Yeah.
Hold on to that thought.
Because that spark of curiosity, that's where it all starts, right?
It's what keeps us going.
It drives us to explore, to question, to dig deeper.
Yeah, to make those connections that reveal the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Listening back to everything we've talked about today,
Uh-huh.
it's easy to feel, I don't know, a little overwhelmed
A little bit,
by the scale of these global challenges,
for sure.
Like what can one person really do
Right.
in the face of climate change
Yeah.
or these geopolitical conflicts? It feels huge.
Oh. It's a natural reaction to feel small in the face of something so vast.
It is.
But I think that's precisely when individual responsibility becomes even more crucial.
Oh, crucial.
Because if we all just kind of throw up our hands and say, well, there's nothing I can do,
Yeah.
then nothing will change.
Right. Okay, I get that. But what does like individual responsibility actually look like
Yeah.
when we're talking about these global issues, It can feel like such a drop in the ocean.
It can, but it starts with awareness,
Okay.
being informed about the issues, understanding the different perspectives,
Yeah.
and recognizing how our choices,
Yeah.
even the seemingly small ones,
Yeah.
connect to the bigger picture.
So knowledge is power, but only if we actually act on it, right?
Exactly.
It's not enough to just, know about climate change.
Right.
We have to actually do something about it.
You got it.
But what does that doing actually look like?
Well, it can take many forms,
Mhm.
It could be as simple as reducing your carbon footprint
Okay.
by choosing to walk or bike instead of driving.
Right. Little things.
Or it could mean volunteering your time.
Yeah.
Or donating to organizations that are tackling these issues head on.
Okay, so putting your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. And it can also mean using our voices,
Yeah,
our votes,
right.
even our purchasing power
Huh.
to support companies and policies that align with our values.
Hitting them where it hurts, their wallets.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
And don't underestimate the power of conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Having those, sometimes tough talks
Yeah.
with friends and family
Right.
who might have different viewpoints.
Yes. Not always easy.
Not always comfortable, but
Right.
real change often starts with those uncomfortable dialogues, right?
Oh, I think so.
Challenging our own biases.
Being open to hearing other perspectives.
That's where empathy comes in.
exactly.
The ability to, step outside our own bubbles and genuinely try to understand where other people are coming from.
That's huge.
And this brings us back to the power of storytelling.
Ah.
Something we talked about earlier.
A circle.
Stories have this incredible ability to foster empathy, right?
I think so, yeah.
To connect us to people and experiences
Uh-huh.
that we might never encounter in our own lives.
It opens up your world.
So it's not just about consuming stories for entertainment.
Right.
It's about seeking out stories that challenge us,
Yeah, that make you think.
that expand our understanding of the world,
Exactly.
that help us see things from a completely different perspective.
Because those stories can be powerful drivers of social change.
Wow, okay.
Can sway public opinion,
Yeah.
inspire action,
Right.
and ultimately contribute to a more just
Mhm.
and equitable world.
Okay, I'm feeling that glimmer of hope again.
Good.
If stories have the power to change the world,
And they do.
and we all have the power to tell stories,
We all do.
then maybe we're not as powerless as we sometimes feel.
I love that.
Right.
I wholeheartedly believe that
Yeah.
each of us has a story to tell, a unique perspective to share.
Right.
And those individual stories, woven together, create the grand tapestry
The tapestry.
of human experience.
And by sharing those stories, by engaging in those difficult conversations,
Mm-hmm.
by making those small but meaningful choices
Yes.
in our everyday
And
lives,
it all adds up.
we contribute to a collective movement that can, shift the tide,
I love that image.
right? That can bend the arc of history towards a more hopeful future.
That's beautifully put.
It's not about waiting for someone else to fix the problems.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all part of the solution.
We are
Okay, folks, we've reached the end of our deep dive
already.
into Global Pulse.
Time flies when you're having fun.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
explored some complex issues,
Definitely.
and hopefully sparked some new ideas along the way.
That's the goal.
But before we go, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Do you remember the question we asked earlier?
Which one?
The one about what stood out to you the most?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What sparked your curiosity?
What made you want to learn more?
Don't let that spark fade away.
Keep it burning.
Take that curiosity and run with it. Do your own research.
Absolutely.
Have those tough conversations.
Challenge yourself.
And most importantly, take action in whatever way feels meaningful to you.
However big or small.
Because even small ripples can create big waves.
They can.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Until next time.
We'll catch you next time, ready to plunge into another fascinating topic.
Can't wait.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged with the world.
And keep telling your story.
The world needs to hear it.